Hey, everybody, welcome back to the show. My name's Maria Ryan. I am your certified dog trainer, the host of this show, and your dog's advocate and your cat's advocate, too. All the animals. Anyway, we're going to talk about heat stroke, what it is, do dogs sweat, how do they sweat, where do they sweat from, what to do if they have heat stroke, etc. So let's get into it. Basically, yeah, they totally sweat, but they really sweat through, not like we sweat, like we kind of sweat from everywhere, right? Sweat on your forehead, your armpits, your hands, your feet, everywhere, all the places, under your boobs, okay, everywhere. But dogs sweat through their feet, which is kind of weird, right? And also, they do have sweat glands in their uh, nose. And their sweat glands are called uh, merocrine glands. And those are the glands that I mentioned, nose and feet. And then they have other glands that emit um, pheromones. So those are different. Those are apocrine glands. They are not emitting any kind of sweat. So I want to talk about what you can do to help mitigate your dog having heat stroke. And some of the things we're going to talk about are going to be how to cool them down and what to look for. So, really, let's also talk about the dog's normal temperature. A dog's normal temperature for Fahrenheit is around 99.5 to about 102.5. And if Celsius, that's 37.5 Celsius to 39.2 Celsius. And cats are 101.4 Fahrenheit to about 103.1 Fahrenheit and 38 to 39.5 degrees Celsius. Um, I will say that I highly doubt you're going to get the thermometer out and take your pet's temperature. If you're super organized, you're going to do that. But if your dog happens to experience some of what you think might be heat stroke, I don't want you to be like, oh my God, I've got to get the thermometer to see what's happening. Don't waste your time with that, right? On the get go. But things to look for are going to be if your dog, if your dog is playing, especially if they're running around, but also if they're just kind of hanging out. It could be a senior dog, it could be a dog that is even a younger dog. Those are more vulnerable pets for us, young and old. But also, I want you to realize that some of the signs could be just simple stumbling or where you think, oh, my dog's not paying attention to me. Are they really not paying attention to you? Or do they have like more of this glazed look in their eyes and just not focused? That is a sign of heat stroke along with that stumbling. And if you get to the point where the dog is vomiting, that's very serious. They get a really thick mucus in their mouth and they will vomit and it's thick and it's gross. So you want to look for things like that. Now, it is something that can definitely cause death in your pets. It's not something to mess around with. And we're having a super duper hot summer. Like I said, we're in Florida here, and the air is thick. It's oppressive. It's hard for us to breathe. And forget about our animals. Now, I've had two different people um, contact and reach out to me over the last 2 weeks that they weren't sure what their dogs were doing. We're going to talk about that in a second, why they were behaving in a specific way. And when we're talking about dogs that experience heat stroke, we're thinking, oh, the dogs with the smushed faces or the brachycephalic dogs, their faces are just really kind of mashed in, like pugs or boxers, uh, mastiffs. What else? Uh, Frenchies, okay? English bulldogs, just the dogs that are smashed in. Now, but however, all the things, it is not just breed specific. It is not specific to a size of dog or a breed of dog. I can tell you for a fact that my Jack Russell, Rufus, and a lot of you guys remember Rufus, um, he experienced heat stroke. This is literally in the middle of the night, about 2 a.m. Out in my yard. It is no sun. It's 2 a.m. Throwing the ball, and he loved the ball. And I had a really long yard. And he all of a sudden came back on his way back, and he was kind of like, oh. And I'm like, let's bring him inside. Brought him inside, and he like just fell out, like kind of on his side. And I was like, holy crap, he has heat stroke. So this is what I did. I cooled him down with water. I laid him on the tile in the kitchen. I got an ice pack out, and I put it in between his thighs. I dripped water on him, just cool water. We had a ceiling fan going on high. And I just sat with him and just like tried to get him to just kind of relax and know that it was going to be okay. And I just kind of dripped some water on his gums a little bit with my finger, so it really wasn't much of anything, but it is definitely something that scared the hell out of us. And I was like, "Oh my god, this not the middle of the summer. It is not a brachycephalic dog. This is a freaking Jack Russell at 2 a.m. playing ball." But he ran hot. He was a dog that ran hot. He was a hyper meaning more uh thermic dog, thermic heat, temperature. So he was hyperthermic. And from that day forward, I had to really watch how long he was playing, what we were doing, what time of day it was, etc. Or could we play that day at all? Now, this is Jack Russell. He was like so ball motivated. This dog, I have the Go Dog Go launching tennis ball launching machine. I'll find a video and pop it in here for you guys to see. But he was obsessed, and that's fine. However, I'm not having you be all obsessed at 11 o'clock in the morning, 12 o'clock, noon, 1, 2, 3. None of those times. We're not doing this during those times. Remember, I said this happened to him in the middle of the night. So this is what I started to do with Rufus was I limited the amount of time that we played with him. I can't remember. It might have been a maximum of 4 to 5 minutes. I can't remember because it's been so long, and he's no longer with us. So I don't have real recent memories, and 4 to 5 minutes is actually a really long time. People don't realize that. Oh, just 4 to 5 minutes. It's a long freaking time. Okay. But that worked for him, and then I would cool him down, and I actually made ice pops for him. We had ice pops for him that were specific for him for after playing, and he would just lick them, he wasn't eating the ice. I don't like to give my dog super cold water any time of year because if they drink a lot of water, they tend to be gulpers. Like Toady is a huge time gulper. And some of your dogs might be gulpers, or they're just like, oh my god, like, how gross and nasty are you drinking your water and loud, and there's water everywhere. But if you give a lot of dogs will vomit if they have really cold water right after they come in and they're drinking a lot and the water's super cold and they're hot. It can cause a just, what do you call it? Like a gag reflex, and they'll puke up all the water. So you want to watch that also. It's absolutely give water. It could be cool water. Room temperature is better. But just, keep that in mind. A lot of people are like, oh, I put ice cubes in the water, and that's all fine and dandy. But from experience, really cold water has made my dogs and other people's dogs puke immediately. And if you're dealing with a heat stroke situation, the last thing you want is your dog to dehydrate further. Okay. So you want to always have fresh water available to your pets. And that is something that sometimes we forget, we run out, whatever it is. We keep a pitcher right by our bowl for the dogs, and it's always filled. And you just walk by and top it off, top it off, top it off. Our dogs don't tend to drink a lot of water because we feed them home prepared raw diet. So there's a lot of moisture in their food already, but that doesn't mean I'm not filling their water bowl up. And, you've got to really be on that. And if they're outside, have water for them outside as well. And just dump it out when you come in. Make sure you keep the water bowls clean. You don't want to have standing water. We don't want to have giardia, and or we don't want to keep a breeding ground for mosquitoes, especially if you're in your south down here. We're Mosquito City. I don't even know how many breed or species of whatchamacallit, mosquitoes we have down here. But and your cats also. Cats can, overheat too. This is not just for dogs. All animals, all beings can overheat. The things to do if you start seeing signs like this, with the stumbling, with the not focused, with just kind of like just really mucousy membranes in their mouth. Just get them in the house, get them cool. If you have a fan, especially like those battery operated fans, which I hope you have in your hurricane kit, and hurricane kit, storm kit, wherever you are, first aid kit, just like have that stuff available. And you can get water on them, spray them with water. You can put hose water on them, and don't like dunk them in the pool or anything, because that could be too much of a shock for them. And it could just really mess up their symptoms and their system. So you want to just be gentle with it, but proactive with it. Okay. So get the dog wet and or your cat, and get the fan on them, or get them in air conditioning. If you have an ice pack, wrap it in like a cloth or a towel or something, and put it in between their legs and their stomach. There's a lot of large blood vessels in their hind legs and their belly area, armpits also. Those are really good places to cool them off. If you're out on a hike, I hope you have water for yourself and your pet. But I would also venture to say you should bring a spray bottle, just in case you're out there and all of a sudden, you're super far away from anything like any civilization, like your car, even. Um, you can't turn your AC on in your car, whatever. You're in the middle of the woods. Get your dog cooled off by pouring some water over them, and get a spray bottle that's like kind of the atomizer where it can spray water on them. I think would be just beneficial. And you could even spray their mucous membranes in their mouth to cool them down. Okay. Now, I want you to be aware also the times that you're going out. The times of day are super important. Don't go out at high noon. Go out in the morning. Go out in the evening when it's cooler, when the sun is down or barely up. And of course, always have your water with you if you're walking your pets. The other reason why you want to do that is you don't want to burn their pads of their feet. You know, I would venture to say that I want you to touch the ground, or take your shoes off and put your feet on the ground. And if you cannot tolerate it, then guess what? Your pets are not able to tolerate it too. Do they have rough pads? Absolutely. That doesn't mean that they're not gonna burn, okay? Especially if you have a puppy. If you have a dog that is a low rider dog, like a small dog, like a Yorkie or a Dachshund, or, a Corgi, even, Jack Russells, all the small breeds, poodles, miniature poodles, their bodies are so much closer to the ground, and that heat is radiating up on them like wildfire, no pun intended. The other thing I want you to do is look and see if you can get a cooling mat. Cooling mats are great. You can get them any size. You can go on, Amazon or walmart.com, or, probably any of the pet supplies like Chewy, and just type in cooling mat and it'll pop up. Get a cooling mat for your pet. It's great. Cool them down fast. It'd be a great thing to take on walks with you also. Like I said, if you go hiking or anything like that, even if you don't go hiking, even if you just walk around the neighborhood, or if you do go to the dog park, which I hate dog parks and you know that, but I know people go anyway. And you know, be prepared. Be the Girl Scout, Boy Scout, just like be ready for anything, okay? And part of that is being prepared during weather situations. This are also these cooling mats are great to have in your hurricane kit for when you have to evacuate. If you have to evacuate, maybe you don't have to evacuate, but you know what? Chances are you're going to have to evacuate. So we're going through extreme heat right now. There is a some big hot weather dome. What are they calling it? Let me see if I can find it. Um, let's see. Da, da, da. Yeah, it's like in Florida, it is mid 90s, but it feels like temperatures. Those always crack me up when they're like, oh, it feels like is 105. That's freaking hot, you guys. Okay. And this heat dome that's over the entire United States, you really need to be aware of that for yourself too. A lot of people just, we don't all have air conditioners or fans or what have you, and for whatever reason, so stay cool, stay in the shade, very important. If your dog is or cat is experiencing any kind of something that you think might be heat stroke, just act on it right away. Don't wait and see if it's heat stroke. Act right away. Get them out of the sun, preferably get them indoors, but if you can, and you're not in any place where there's a building, go under a tree or what have you, so they're out of the direct sunlight. Now the other thing I wanted to tell you is, please, God, please don't leave your freaking dogs in a vehicle, okay? Now, that being said, are you running your AC? Maybe that's good, but ACs, cars overheat. If you're going to do that because you have no other option, I understand this is the real world, okay? Um, Park your car in shade, make sure the doors are locked, turn your AC on, and crack the hood of your vehicle so it doesn't overheat. I'm telling you, that's the best thing that you can do. Now there are vehicles like whatchamacallit, Teslas that have dog mode and you know but I mean, I know it's run on battery, but I'm still like a little paranoid about that. Always park in the shade, always, and just don't leave them in the car, because there's even in the shade, if it's like 90 degrees out, it's in minutes it's going to be 105, 125, and your dog's body is in that heat. You can't tolerate that heat. There's no way. They should not be left in the vehicle, period, okay? People are gonna break the windows in your car if your dog is left, or your cat, or your child, hello, is left in a vehicle and it's freaking hot out, okay? And don't get pissed at them. They're just saving your animal's life or your child's life. So don't do it. Like I said, if you have to, leave the AC on. But yeah, cars overheat. It's mechanical. So um leave your dog home, get somebody else to run in the store for you. Do what you can to mitigate that um possibility of your pets overheating. Now, also, this dogs can die from heat stroke. Animals die from heat stroke. Humans die from heat stroke or animals. But I just want you to be very cautious and very aware of that possibility, and be prepared. Don't stay out too much, too long with them. These guys go out. Let's see, around 5:30, between 4:30 and 5:30 in the morning, and again at 9:30. Depending on the day, I do like to get them out one more time, and then they don't go out again until the sun is setting. It's just too damn hot, and they go out, um, for their last time at, like, 11:30, just depending. So they go out, 4 to 5 times a day, usually 5 times a day, um, because they do play, but I keep their playtime short, and they're playing in the shade or when it's cool, or like you guys have seen when Tony terraces through our back 40 little, lake that we have back there. No joke, you guys. I should have taken a picture the other day, but there was, a duck, like, swimming in there, so what are you gonna do? It's Florida, right? It happens. You just have to watch all the wildlife too. Speaking of wildlife and living in Florida, please stay away from the edges or interior of ponds, retention ponds, like, they're not lakes, and if you're in an apartment complex and there's a body of water, it's a retention pond, or any lakes or any rivers or anything like that. This is mating season for gators. We also have caiman here because, Florida. But just stay out of the water. Keep your dogs away from the edge of the water, please. Do yourself a huge favor. Save your life, save limbs, save your pets. Do not walk near the edge of any of these bodies of water. Um, I used to go kayaking all the time. I would go not this time of year. Nope. This is mating season time. And you know when it's mating season because we tell you when it's mating season. And they are also very vocal during mating season. So that is not a time. But when I went kayaking, it's usually like January, um, February, December, all in there, like holiday time kind of stuff, cooler times of the year. And I saw gators all the time. I totally kept away from them. I stayed in my kayak. I did not flip my kayak. I just was able to go at a time where it wasn't active time for them. And if there is a puddle, there is a possibility that there's a gator in there. And I'm not being facetious. I'm not trying to be all coy. It's true. It is true, damn it. So stay away from those bodies of water, especially right now. We want to keep you and your pets safe. All right. And I gotta tell you, I think that's it. We covered it. We covered heat stroke, what it looks like, what to do, what not to do, and that it's for any breed of dog, not just our brachycephalic dogs. And I also, you know, want to tell you also that I would definitely bring if your dog is, first of all, is in the middle of a heat stroke, definitely cool that pet down and get them to your vet if you can. Crank your AC in your car. Or even if you can't get there, like right there while it's happening, just bring your pet into your vet so that they can get checked out. It can really mess up their neurological system, their brain, the central nervous system. I think it's okay also to gently pour some water over their head also. I know when I've gotten overheated from heat, being outside, working too much, just pouring some water over my head, not ice water, because that just gets your central nervous system and your heart rate and everything kind of going. So just ease it and just be gentle with them. Be gentle with yourself. Have a damn doggone positive day. Stay cool. Get your water, get your cooling mat, get your fans, stuff a Kong, and just have a damn good day, everybody. I love you, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.